Greetings and welcome back everyone to another Destiny Theory lore video. This one struck me recently simply because I was assisting one of my friends get through the Final Shape campaign, and I realized a line hit me a little harder than it did when I initially played through the campaign several times. I didn't really pay much attention to it until this time around, where I was just kind of casually, going through, helping this player get through the campaign since they've been trying to, play when they can, which is, normal for any regular player. And I came across the line that the dissenters threw at Zavala whenever we got to the actual mission called Descent. And suddenly it sparked a whole new theory in my head that I needed to just kind of get down for you guys, see if you guys agree, see if you guys have any other connections that might support this theory or things that might debunk it. But in this cutscene, we are coming across and trying to save Zavala from giving himself to darkness because we don't know what's going to happen. And at the end of the mission, we eventually get to him, and he decides to go ahead and embrace the darkness and walk into this wall of darkness that is reaching out to him almost when he comes close. And then within the cutscene, we hear this line from the dissenters.
We too once looked to the silent God for purpose. But all he could offer was more life, void of meaning. No. Lies. We ran from it. So we sought its opposite.
Now, I'm sure some of you may have been like me and just kind of disregarded this as just them trying to counteract whatever the witness is saying, but I wanted to look a little bit deeper into what they've actually just told us. The witness says that they once looked to the silent God for purpose, and all it could offer was life. But the dissenters say, lies, we ran from it. My brain immediately jumped to asking, what reason would anyone have to run from the Traveler? What could the Traveler do or have done to force people to run away? I've not seen anything from the Traveler that would indicate to me that it is inherently dangerous. But, we know so little about this being, realistically, as we know the Traveler is alive. We have plenty of lore pages now where the Traveler is describing its own feelings, and Micah having the visions of the Traveler, being able to portray its emotions and its viewpoint to us, almost as a new speaker. But we know so little. We've just now reached the inside of it. We've seen the Pale Heart. And now with light and dark within the Traveler, I ignited a new theory in my head, which is the only thing that I could parse it as right now is, what if the Winnower is a lot closer than we might believe? And the reason I say this is because I don't see any other reason that the dissenters would have run, or the precursors would have run from the Traveler. We've not seen the Traveler be aggressive, except for the blast that it did to the Witness's ships, and eventually was Nezarek's ship, or the ship that Nezarek's head was contained on after being betrayed by Savathun. So, what could they be running from? And my theory goes as such. What if the Gardener and the Winnower are a lot closer to each other than we think? And I say this as, one, the furthest and extreme end of the theory is that the Gardener and the Winnower are the Traveler. Because to think of it on a scale of what Guardians were, what they are, what they have been, the Traveler itself is the being that provides life. As far as we've seen, it provides life in terraforming, it provided life in form of the ghosts, it provided life in every single form we've ever seen it take, and even its attack on the ship that was containing Nezarek's head, it terraformed it. It gave it life. It gave Nezarek life again. It built him a body that was a combination of light and dark. But I also want to point to another page, well, pages really, in chirality. Thank you for the person in the comments who did correct me on the pronunciation of that. But in chirality, on the last few pages, Imaru has a page where he speaks about light and dark does not mean good and evil. It all comes down to the decision that the individual has, will always have, and has always had to do good or evil with either of them, light or dark. Which I also believe kind of supports this theory in the fact that, what if they're the same? The gardener is the traveler itself. The being and the globe that we have seen in the sky for years, now over a decade. But what if, on the flip side, you consider its job as the Winnower being us, as the Guardian? Guardians have been warlords. We have culled pieces of this universe. We have pushed things to extinction, and the examples that I lean towards are when Guardians first were risen back in the time of the Dark Ages, where Zavala has been, Saladin has been, Drifter has been, even though he was known as Wu Ming back then. They all talk about how Guardians were warlords. We were territorial. We were primitive. We fought each other with the light. We used it as a show of force, as a show of power to anyone who dared challenge us. And then even past that, when we just, started to go into the way that we are now, Guardians culled things. Think of the Great Hunt. We hunted down Ahamkara until we believed they were an extinct race. We believed it was right. But in a way, when you think of the metaphor of the gardener and the winnower and how it's been presented to us in terms of the gardener always providing new life in some way, shape, or form, but the winnower having to cull the sick, the weak, the dangerous, the poisonous to the garden, that's exactly what we are as the Guardian. That's what we've been doing for the entire storyline for the last decade. We've done nothing but cull things. When Oryx became too confident, and he was taking life forms for his own bidding, we got rid of him. We slayed him on his own ship. When Crota decided to try and take over the moon and show himself, we killed him. We put him down without a second thought. And one of the worst cases, in my opinion, is when Savathun arrived to only state to us that she is here to attempt to save the Traveler. We did not even give her a chance to speak. We saw Savathun, we saw another hive god, and we immediately jumped to the race to kill her. Granted, there's many arguments that can be made that the hive always attacked us first, but in this scenario, Savathun did not attack first. She just arrived. She came out of hyperspace, or she came out of her throne world with her ship. We saw it was her ship, and we went, nope, we got to get rid of it. And we attacked, and then we found out they had the light, and whenever you really break down the campaign of the Witch Queen, even though Savathun, yes, is the queen of deceit and trickery, she was trying to save the Traveler, because they do have that inherent drive as we do, and that is shown in another page of chirality where a hive knight, a lucent hive knight, is describing its feelings after being reawakened in the light, and it describes how we have the same agenda. However, the hive is having an existential crisis of since I was reborn in the light out of the dark, don't you think I would be made something, I would have been made something sweet and gentle, but that's not the case. The hive sword logic is still a part of its soul, its chitin, its being. It is built into it, no matter if it was reborn in the light and wants to defend the traveler or not, but it now believes that the sword logic is its way of defending the traveler. And we're doing the same thing. We are performing the same action, just on a more extreme scale. We have just cut the witness out of existence, and now we are dealing with its memories, its pieces that are flying off. The mixture of light and dark within the traveler, as we know, during the campaign of the Pale Heart, darkness was consciousness and ideas, but the light brought those ideas to fruition. They made them physical, they made them manifest, they made them real. And so now, with all of these things being spilled out into the traveler and into the universe beyond, we are looking at these ideas, these memories, and everything become reality. So, in terms of the theory itself, it is a bit out there, it is a bit wild, but I do want to keep an eye on it just to see maybe if there's more supporting pieces that come out as we move forward. But there are also more concepts and ideas I want to talk about, especially this week. There is a lot that's been revealed in Echoes, and I'm super excited to get started on that video and get that running and uploaded. There may be a double upload this week, and keep an eye out for that, because I'm just too excited to let this go by for this week without discussing it and touching on it, since some of our theories and everything have been hard confirmed by the lore pages that we have received, and I will discuss those and go over those. But other than that, let me know how you feel about the theory. Let me know if you agree, disagree. Do you have any other supporting details? Do you have any details that might debunk this theory? But I feel that now that the Traveler is a being of light and dark, as far as we understand now, with the Witness's darkness powers spilling out into it and out into the universe, I believe that the Winnower may just be a darker side of the Traveler that the precursors witnessed, pun intended, and ran. And that's why they wanted to fight back. It did something or caused something that they believe that it was terrifying enough to run from it and hunt it down so that it never did it again. So, let me know how you feel. Let me know about those additional details, and I will talk to you guys in the next video.